In the name of Allah, the most merciful, I begin that I am Khalil ibn Ahmad Al-Farahidi, born in the humble town of Oman, nurtured later in the learned city of Basra, and remembered by those who seek knowledge. As the architect of Arabic linguistics, the one who measured poetry, purified the lexicon, and charted the melody of the Arabic tongue. But I did not begin as a man of fame. I began as a boy who listened in the vast deserts of Oman. The old Bedouins recited verses, and I heard something within their poetry that many overlooked. I heard patterns, not merely rhymes, but beats, waves, hidden structures. While others heard words, I heard mathematics inside sound. When I grew older, I traveled to Basra, the city where knowledge gathered like stars at night. There, I studied grammar, poetry, theology, and music. But my mind, it always returned to sound. One night, while walking alone, I passed a blacksmith's workshop. He struck his anvil, tang, dang, dang. And in those sounds I heard what the poets have been hiding for centuries. This, I said to myself, is the beat of Arabic poetry. I rushed home and began my life's work. The classification of Arabic poetic meters. I listened to the rhythms of thousands of verses, dissected them, rearranged them, and discovered that all Arabic poetry, every anthem, every qasida, every line uttered by desert or city, was built on a foundation of just 15 universal meters. This was not merely an academic achievement. It was the first scientific study of prosody in human history, before any culture had organized poetry by mathematical pattern. Today, the world calls it my greatest work. To me, it was simply listening deeply. People often ask how I had the courage to attempt something no one had done before, to write the first complete Arabic dictionary, but I did not look at it as an impossible task. I looked at it as an essential one. That Arabic was vast, spoken by poets, scholars, merchants, warriors, and each tribe carried words unknown to the next. Without order, the language risked fragmentation. I took a radical approach. I began from the deepest sound in the throat, the letter, ain, and from that deep origin, I climbed outward through the mouth, organizing letters by the physical movement of human speech. Never before had a dictionary been organized by phonetic articulation. Today it may seem ordinary, but then it was groundbreaking. That I traveled from tribe to tribe, gathered words from Bedouins, the guardians of the pure tongue, and documented them with precision. The result was Kitab al-Ain, a monumental work that preserved and purified the Arabic language for all generations after me. My love was not limited to words. That I studied music, patterns of sound, and the mathematics of acoustics. To me, music was simply poetry carried on a wave. That I wrote about phonetics, pronunciation, tones, and the correlation between sound and meaning. That I observed that every sound the human mouth could produce possessed a natural weight, and that these weights governed not only language, but emotion. Though many of my works in music were lost, their influence lived on in the writings of my students. My student Sibawayh, the great grammarian, would later write Al-Kitab, the cornerstone of Arabic grammar. And he, may God bless his brilliance, said openly that I was the source of much of his knowledge. That I guided him through the structure of Arabic sentences, the logic of declensions, the rules of syntax, and the subtleties of spoken and classical Arabic. Though he became more famous than I felt no jealousy. For a teacher's true immortality is found in the rise of his students. I did not limit myself to poetry and words. No seeker of truth should that I wrote a treatise on zakat, not merely as a religious duty, but as a mathematical system. I analyzed wealth distribution, proportions, and social welfare with precision and rationality. Knowledge was a single garden, and all sciences were simply different paths to walk through it. People often said I was strange. I refused wealth. I rejected lavish homes. I lived on little. I walked barefoot. I ate what was necessary. I believed that knowledge must be pursued purely, not for gold, not for fame, not for worldly gain. This day, some say I died poor, but I say I died the richest of men. For my wealth was language, my currency knowledge, and my legacy eternal. I left this world in Basra, quietly, with no monument, no grand funeral, But my works traveled farther than any caravan could. The rhythms I discovered still beat beneath the poetry of every Arab. The dictionary I began still echoes in every linguistic work after mine. The knowledge I taught still forms the foundations of Arabic grammar. And the clarity I sought still shines in every scholar of the language. When you read Arabic poetry, when you consult a dictionary, when you analyze a verse, when you marvel at the structure of the Arabic tongue, you are hearing my voice that I, Khalil ibn Ahmad Al-Farahidi, a man who walked barefoot, a man who listened to sound more deeply than others, a man who lived simply but thought immensely, helped shape one of the greatest linguistic traditions known to humanity. And as long as Arabic is spoken, my heartbeat will continue in its rhythm.